Welcome to Be Fab, Be You Made Simple, your daily dose of inspiration designed to help you reinvent yourself by optimizing your body and mind. I am Maria Horstman, a health editor and coach, a fitness trainer, a speaker, and an entrepreneur, founder of BeFabBeYou.com. Our episodes are short and will bring you valuable content and practical nuggets for optimal health and fitness that you can implement ASAP. Let's get you to feel fabulous every day. Are you ready? Check out the show notes too. 1, schedule a free call with me to discuss a plan to take your health to the next level. 2, submit a question to be featured in our Ask Me Anything episodes on Sundays. Connect with me on social media and much more. Hit the subscribe button, and if you like what you hear, share with your friends and leave it a rating. Hello, welcome back, my Be Fab, Be You Made Simple family. I'm super excited to be here today. This is a special episode, and it's special because I'm celebrating my anniversary. The anniversary of this podcast, and hey, anniversary of America too. Today is July 3rd. I'm recording this on July 3rd. And yesterday, July 2nd, 2021, it marked 25 years that I landed in this country, the United States. And actually, I've been living in Atlanta since day one. I remember that day and that moment quite vividly, if like it was yesterday. And so today I thought I would do something different. Instead of talking more about health and wellness and fitness and all these great things that we've been talking for the past 49 episodes, I will give you a chance to get to know me a little better. And I will do this. I will talk a little bit about my journey in the last 25 years. And I will talk, how I started this podcast, a little bit of the podcast since, has been 50 episodes. I'm very proud to keep on rolling, and my plan is to keep on rolling. And then I'm going to wrap up with a few kind of, questions that are fun facts. How about that? So you ready? So laid back and maybe going to laugh some, whatever. Look, as you can see, I'm showing up as it is. And if you're listening to this, you can always watch. Actually, I'm live on this camera, which is something that I normally don't do. So you can watch the video on the my YouTube channel too. So, so let me start with a little bit about my journey. Well, I was 21 and a half, about to be 22, and I left Brazil for internship that was going to last about 12 months, but no more than 18 months. And that, you wonder, why'd you leave Brazil? Well, I was in a career of international business at the time. I was working full-time in the business of import and export, which I loved that business back then. And I was in school also for international business. And so, having this opportunity to go overseas and work for a company and, improve my language skills in this case was English. And I said, wow, that's fantastic. And then maybe I can make some connections, this would just enhance my career. So that was my plan. So, yes, I joined a company called Isaac, is a nonprofit. They work with universities and they exchange students. So I did a battery of tests and I ended up being put into this database. And there was this tiny little company here in Georgia that no longer exists, what's called AIT. And had an interview and they said, yes, we'd love to have you. So my life, little I knew, was about to change forever. So, hey, I work for that company. And I didn't like that job. No, it was miserable. But I pushed through because, my goal was to improve my language skills and to meet people. Well, meeting people, I networked quite a bit. And I ended up meeting president of another company here in Georgia that ended up offering me a job. And I decided to accept. But, there was a lot of major decisions on accepting that job. When I left Brazil, I left my education. I hadn't finished my college degree. I had left, a 3-year plus relationship, which we're still dating long distance, obviously. And obviously family, my culture and everything else. Well, I do not like to live my life with what ifs. And I think it was for the first time that really I came to understand how important the what if was for me, and has been since. I do not like to make decisions in my life knowing or the unknown of what if I have done that, and the what if I go back to Brazil and don't take this opportunity that is kind of a once in a lifetime. What is going to happen to my life and how it's going to impact my mental health and me as a person, and even the relationships around me, because I could be blaming people, although I was fully responsible for those decisions. So anyway, I decided to accept the position. So lots have happened since that. Worked for that company, traveled the world, and then I ended up finishing my undergrad here in the United States. I was a little older when that happened. Did that in 2004, my undergraduate in finance. And then started working on the field of finance. And then I did my MBA at Emory, the executive MBA at Emory University here in Atlanta. And then I continue my journey. But shortly after that, I kind of started transforming my life, and some wake-up calls came. And, I started my journey, my health journey soon after. And, in 2014, I had just changed jobs to work with a former CFO that I had worked with, a CFO / that had become friends. And anyway, he invited me to work with him again. And that job actually was not going to last long, unfortunately. The company was not doing well, and I had to make some decisions. And I had already started my health and wellness journey for quite some time now at that time. And I decided to take the leap of faith and walk away and start Be Fab, Be You. So beginning of 2015, that's what I did. Obviously, lots of adventures and things happen, and fears and big decisions, happen until then, and it's still happening today. But it has been a great journey, and I'm extremely, extremely grateful for the United States for giving me so many opportunities that I know deep in my heart that my country, Brazil, would not have offered me. So for all of you that have crossed my path in one way or another, there was a reason, and I'm grateful for you. So I have many, many, many people to be thankful for that helped me and shaped me to be this 46-year-old that I am today. Obviously, of course, there is my mom and my family who did that, found the foundation, but lots of amazing people have come on my way, and I feel very blessed. So that's in a nutshell, a little summary of me in my past 25 years here. And I look forward to many, many more years. Where I'm going to end up, I'm not quite sure. I'd love to retire in a place like Italy, Costa Rica, maybe, or maybe even Brazil. We'll see. Depends. Yes, do I miss my family? Absolutely, I miss them. Thank goodness for technology. I talk to my mom and I see her, on WhatsApp. Probably you know that app. If you don't, that's a great app. So free calls, free video, all that kind of stuff. Anyway, going back to the podcast and why I came to America. But yeah, those things are important. I do feel homesick once in a while. And last time I was home was in 2019, October 2019, for my nephew's wedding. And I had a great time seeing a lot of my family all together. So treasure those moments. So that's a little bit about that. And obviously, I'm welcome to answer any questions that you have about my past and my present. So feel free to email them to me or send me a note, whatever. So, shifting gears a bit about the podcast, because today is episode 50. And Boy, isn't that awesome? It is for me. Maybe it's not for you, but maybe it is for you too. And I hope it is. If you've been listening to it, I hope the content has been really inspiring you to make small changes to a better you, for you to reach your full potential. So if you may ask why I started a podcast, and if you know me, I'm going to be bold. I'm going to be kind of, telling you always the truth in some way or another. Sometimes more direct than other times. As a coach, I have to adapt my way. But here I'm talking to you as it is. And look, I started really because I wanted to share my message. I wanted to share my knowledge. I wanted to inspire people. I wanted to inspire change. And I wanted people to kind of almost shake them a little bit and get them outside their comfort zone to realize that there is more to them. And the only reason I can say this with a certainty is because, health is so important. And although we think that if you think that you're like, I'm your top health, there is more to it. I don't believe that anybody can be 100%, right? Now, can we strive to 100%? Yes. The body is changing constantly. And I'm so curious about the body. And I'm so curious about the journey. But here is the thing. Let me tell you what the thing is. The thing is that I'm not much of a camera person, okay? And doing these video things, it really kind of shuts me down, okay? This thing of getting pretty up in front of the camera, you got to look good, you got to do this, got to do that. I mean, this is draining just to think about it. And, I've been in business since 2015, and I will tell you this. With all honesty, I think my business would have grown faster and I would have achieved more if I were not so much camera shy. And where did that come from? That's for another episode, okay? I just needed to eliminate barriers. I had to apply, concepts that I apply with my clients is, okay, I'm here. I want to get here. And all in between, there are a bunch of debris, right? Because most of us know what to do. Yes, there is nuances about it, of course. But to me, this video and how can I get people to listen to what I have to say and inspire them and to get to know me better as a person and as a coach, as a professional coach and trainer, without these videos. And it says podcast because I can talk. Can you tell? I can talk. Yes, I can talk. So that's why I decided to do the podcast. And I had thought about it since 2017. Actually, this microphone that I'm actually recording with, I bought in 2017. I know. And there's always something that got in my way because we're always in our way, right? To get to our best. We are in our way for the most part. And I said, it is time. And also, I wanted my word for the year to be consistency too. Actually, I have this bracelet here that says, I am consistent. And then I have this necklace that says fruition. I truly believe on that. And that's not only for Maria as a coach, but Maria as a person, Maria in anything that Maria wants to achieve, and is the same for you. With consistency, we're going to get there, right? We're going to get the fruition of experiencing X, W, and Z. And I committed in the end of 2020 that I to podcasting. So that's what it is. And I got to thank my buddy, Bob. Bob and I worked together in the accounting and finance department of a company called Timbervest. I worked there for 6 years, 2005, 2011, actually. And Bob was like a mentor and almost like a father to me. And he might be listening to this now. And actually, Bob and his family, they have a house by the lake Lanier here in Atlanta. And I needed to go somewhere to focus and to get this podcast started. So I asked Bob if I could stay there for Christmas. And I did. He said yes. And I brought all my stuff and I planned the trailer episodes, the intro, the outro, and all that kind of stuff. And that's where it all started. So thank you, Bob, if you're listening to this. If you're not listening, hey, close your eyes, Bob. and receive my gratitude. Okay. So that's where I always started. And then I continue since, right? And throughout this journey, this 49 episodes, we talked so much about mindset. We talked about, childhood adversity. We talk about nutrition. We talk about, so many, liver, gallbladder. We talked about exercise. We talk about fat loss, weight loss, so much, thyroid, and so many things. And there is so much more to come. And I don't want to promise what the next 50 episodes are going to be. And you see, there is some hesitance to promising here because I'm still formulating how the path is going to be. But I want to be a little bit more focused. I want to be more intentional with the episodes, to be more focused on, longer series, right? On specifics, especially on exercise for longevity, with insulin resistance, with fat loss, with, there is a lot to go, but I also want to give you extra kind of, goodies with this podcast too. So you can have an extra motivation to listen to them and have some additional things to kind of browse through and work on. So that's my goal for the next 50 episodes. And eventually I want to grow to have guests, but I want to keep it short. By the way, that's another reason I wanted to create my podcast. Because all these podcasts out there are very long. And, and I used to listen to a lot more. They're like, an hour and a half, even 2 hours. And it's just, I can't do that. I cannot do that. Hey, there are so many things that I'm interested in. And I wanted to start and finish, a podcast. And that's how I wanted to, I want to do things. And to not lose the train of the thought, of that podcast or the inspiration. So I wanted to create mine that was short, to give you nuggets, practical nuggets, to give you inspiration and information, some scientific science behind it, obviously. But something that you, when listen, you said, you know what, I can do this. I can start this. And hey, you can listen to this getting ready in the morning, on your drive to work, or the walks that you do, in your warm up of your workouts, whatever. Hey, we all have, we can make 15, 20 minutes to health and wellness. Can you? If you cannot do that, anyway, yes, you're going to say, well, Maria, there's so many things to listen to, so many things, so many hours in a day. Don't get me started on that. I actually had a full episode about the 24-hour junk list. Go back to that. Okay, episode, go back right in the beginning. So many things we've talked about in this podcast. And so that's one of the major things I wanted to do. I didn't want this podcast to drag, for so on. Another thing that I will be doing in the future is having guests, but be more strategic about this guest. Maybe kind of have them to kind of answer specific questions or give their input of specific questions, so I can kind of keep the podcast short. Yes, I do expect maybe a podcast to be longer, especially if I want to share some interviews that I've done in the past or other podcasts and things like that. But to say the least, one thing I want to say about this podcasting thing is, it's a lot of effort. I'm not complaining, absolutely not. I do because I'm reaching my purpose, which is to express my voice, and I've got some great feedback, inspiring people and adding values to their lives. But yes, it has just cost me money, right? It just costs money and time. I haven't made a dime out of this. Except for today's podcast, episode. On average, it takes me about 6 hours, to think about, to plan the content, to research, to do the transcript, to record, uploads to platforms, and so on. Yes, you're thinking 15 to 20 minutes. It takes that long. Yes, it takes that long to me. And I'm committed to it, and I'll keep doing it. And maybe we'll be short or long term. I'll be able to shorten that process in the long term. God knows. But yes, I don't do for the money, obviously, because I haven't made any. That may maybe one day change, but I have no plans of putting like 5 minutes of little, people get sponsors and all that. I don't want it to keep extending the life of this podcast, the time of this podcast with this. It may change, but I want to stay focused on adding value to you and give you inspiration and knowledge and knowing that you're getting that. So please, I like to be validated. Okay, there's a little bit of that. Send me a note and share with me what you've been getting the most with, and if you support me in my journey and in what I'm all about in this podcast and about other people, including you, leave a review. And I think reviews can be done, on the iTunes, I believe. And that's where you can leave a few stars over there, 5 best, and leave some feedback. That would be really help me expand, because they kind of promote when you have a little stars and all that. So is this podcasting, that I do twice a week, is my day job? Of course not. It's not my day job. I used to be in a career of finance, like you had some clues about it. I used to make 6 figures on that, left all that after I transformed my own health and wellness and habits and mindset. There was, I left all that to start BeFabBU.com, which is a holistic and health coaching practice, also a personal training practice. So I do all that. And I thrive when I'm able to help people to thrive as well. That's really where my passion comes from. And, if you ask me where this passion for coaching came from, actually, when I was a kid, I wanted to be a teacher. And I always loved to help people figure things out in the school. But very quickly, mom says, no. That's no good for you. That doesn't bring money, doesn't pay the bills and things like that. So as a kid, I listened and, I let it go. So that's what it is. And, but that's what I do today. I'm basically a teacher, right? So, and the passion to start the company came, like I said, after I reversed my pre-diabetes. I was a sugar addict to a certain extreme, a pretty bad one. And my nutrition was extremely poor. I had a lot of, constipation, hemorrhoids, I know, TMI, burping, a lot of gastrointestinal issues. And, my hormones were off, especially when we're talking about, and also neurotransmitters, because I was just not feeding myself well, right? The stress was high, sleep was inadequate, and all this kind of stuff. But I had my epiphany in 2011 or so, and that's for another episode. And I start reevaluating my life and the changes that happen in my life through my commitment to aging beautifully with minimum or no medications and thriving in life. It's what got me to do what I did for myself. And I became really passionate about understanding how amazing the body is. And there is so much I didn't know. And I don't regret a bit of living corporate. And I'm very thankful for all those things I did, because actually I'm able to add value to my busy professional, successful clients, because I come from that environment, worked many years under CEOs, CFOs, and so that. So I'm a very business-oriented person. So I can put that together with also the health and wellness that I know today, my own transformation, my knowledge as a nutrition endocrinology practitioner. And I'm doing some other certification called functional diagnostic nutrition in my personal training, so on. The body is a beautiful machine, and I love sharing that. And I love to have my clients have those aha moments. I love them to get success and to make this changes permanent. I mean, it's just, if I could tell you, I mean, this thing in my chest to speak really loud about that. So I want to continue to do that for the rest of my life. And so that's it. So fun facts real quick. So one of my favorite things to do is I love scuba diving. Scuba diving, I wish I could do it more often. And exercise, actually, I love to get a great workout and sweat done. It's just the vibrancy that I feel. Those two things are really important in my life. So yeah, another question is one struggle that I've had that has made me who I am. Look, I've made several tough decisions in my life, especially in the last 25 years, but it's the what if, really. This struggles of, making decision. Do I stay here? Do I go home? Do I start college or go back home? Or this and that and that, buy a house or not? All those things. I'm really, this what if question that drives all these decisions of every struggle is really why makes me so, I guess, passionate about exploring possibilities and helping people discover their full potential. So there is one struggle, I'm not sure if there is one, but there is multiple struggles. I think, my struggle with my sugar addiction, that was a pretty bad one, and my eating disorder too. Those two combined was really tough struggles. And the what if I continue doing this? How badly am I impacting my life and my health as I age? So, working on that, struggle has made me a better coach, a better person, a healthier person. So question number 3, by the way, I pick up these questions from I went to Google, Dr. Google, and I just said, some questions, let's pull this up. So I'm answering as I go over here. So I just pull about 10 of those. So question number 3, if I could keep any animal as a pet, I would choose a tiger. I love tigers. I love looking in their eyes. I've been very close to one. I actually touched a few of them in Thailand. And looking at this animal's eyes, they're precious. So a tiger it is, very powerful animal. And another question is, my dream home would be, yes, I have that dream home actually in my vision board. And I want you to imagine this. I want you to have a very open house, and you have outside, once you walk out, so you have windows, and these are glass windows looking outside, and you walk outside, then you have this beautiful pool, and then you walk outside, you see loads of trees, mountains, greens surrounding that property, and then also straight ahead I can see the ocean. So to me, I thrive in, and the energy comes from nature for me, water and mountains and all that. And I think the water is where my nature thrives even more. I want to move to the beach too. But if I could move to the beach, but it's surrounded by mountains and greens and all that, yes. And I would have this amazing kitchen, that would be big, that I could entertain, and lots of space to walk freely. Oh man, I have that in my vision board. So that's a little bit about that. Where doesn't matter, but I thought about Italy. So many wonderful places in Italy, Costa Rica too. Oh man, so many places I haven't visited yet. So another question, one thing I've done that it's unusual or crazy. Yeah, I would say people call me crazy for bungee jumping. Love that thrill. And I've done 10 times in multiple countries and love it. So that's bungee jumping is my thing. And I encourage you to do it once in a lifetime, if not once more. It's where I felt like what freedom was. I felt free for the seconds that the moment you jump, you're free. You don't feel anything attached to your body. It's just the most spectacular feeling. My favorite TV shows. Oh yes, I've been a Grey's Anatomy fan since the beginning. I still am. It's a fantastic show. I also like Station 19. I also like what is that? The Doctors. Even in all the show. It's on Monday nights, whatever. The Doctor something. I like that show. In a mindless kind of thing, bullshit, pardon my language for it, that I watch when I'm doing nothing important, which doesn't happen often. So I like to watch when I'm rowing and going for a walk or something, is The Bachelor or The Bachelorette. I know, don't judge me here. But these are, things that get my mind off a little bit and make me laugh. I'm like, holy smokes, there's people like that. Holy. And I'm single still. Wow, there is hope for me. So another question here. One thing that makes me angry. Yes, and angry here is myself and actually towards other people too. Is wasting my time. Oh my God. I hate when I do things that waste my own time, and people waste my time. For whatever reason, I'm just going to stop here because I don't want to get angry, because the thought of it wasting time makes my blood boil. Honestly, okay, life is too short. Life is too short, and I don't want to. It's not about managing time, right? I spoke this in a podcast episode 2. It's about managing energy, and my energy is negative when I know that I'm wasting my time for whatever reason, caused by my own actions or lack of them, or other people. But I try to focus on my own first. All right. So that's it for that. So what things I am most curious about? Look, I'm actually curious about people. I'm curious about psychology of people, the why people do things. So yeah, I'm a kind of annoying person sometimes. I ask a lot of questions, and the why. They're like, oh my God, can't you stop about this? And maybe that's what contributes for me to being a great coach too. I want you to figure out the why, because I'm always trying to figure out why I do this, why I behave this way, why I'm saying this. I know it kind of sounds a little crazy, but when we know the why, when I know the why for things, I feel empowered for change. And I like that. Yes, change is difficult. But that's where growth is, and that's we discover, our full potential, stuff that we didn't know that existed when we work on that why. And so I'm very curious about that. I thought the other day, maybe I think I could have been a great psychologist or a therapist. Somewhat I do a little bit about that on my in my coaching, but I'm no therapist, right? But anyway, there's a lot of strategies to get people on the right path, and I apply lots of them. So another question is an accomplishment that I'm particularly proud of is, I think that coming to the United States, I was 21. I didn't hesitate. I just packed my bags and I left, and said goodbye. And I just came, I didn't have any fear. I just came boldly and unapologetically. I said yes. My mom and sister were very upset. They were not talking to me because I said, you going and you don't know anybody, blah, 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 blah. They're concerned about maybe I'm going to be, God knows what they were thinking, but I'm proud of that. I'm proud of taking that leap of faith. And I'm also proud of leaving a very stable career in finance to start my business. It was a huge step. I don't regret it. It's been challenging. There is lots of ups and downs. Entrepreneurship was not something that was in my mind ever. I didn't go to Emory and spend $100,000 for an MBA to start a business. That was not what I had in mind. It was to continue my career. And there's many things that, came on my way to kind of rethink about that career, maybe another episode. But that's what it is. I'm proud of those two. Those are two big leaps that I'm proud of. And another question is, I'm most like, I would most like to be remembered for changing lives. Yes. And lives for better, for inspiring people to lead change in their lives, for being present, in people's lives, for being a significant and trusted, for being a great friend and a great coach, a great person that says, wow, Maria really helped inspire me to do X, W, and Z. She helped me get there. I'll go far and beyond when I see and I can inspire that commitment on people, and I'm part of that journey. whether if you're a client or not, a friend, it doesn't matter who it is, a stranger. I mean, I get an immense amount of reward, reward that I never got that in corporate. And I love the jobs that I had. Don't get me wrong. I love the impact that I made, working with organizations in accounting and finance. It's very rewarding business too. But there's nothing like the reward of seeing people change, and they look into your eyes and they say, "Thank you for changing my life. Thank you for that." I mean, it touches my heart, and I want to keep doing that. And I want to do more and more of that. So there's a lot of things in my business that I want to continue to do. So yeah, I thought I would wrap up with that, and that's what I want to be remembered for. And that's a wrap here today. And I hope you enjoyed this episode, and I look forward to maybe meeting you someday, Zoom, in person, whatever, or send me a note. I mean, and again, I appreciate this past 25 years in this country. I appreciate the United States for all the people that I've met here, and for what this country thrives to be, for all the people protecting this country, and what made this country amazing. And I couldn't be more grateful to be part of it. And thanks again for being part of my podcast journey. And I look forward to keep adding value to your lives. Thank you. Bye-bye. Thanks for listening to the Be Fab, Be You Made Simple podcast. Can you do me a favor? If you enjoyed this episode, share it with a friend and leave it a rating. It helps the podcast, and I really appreciate it. If you're wondering where to start, head over to my website, linked in the show notes, to sign up to receive encouragement, tips, and strategies to maximize results. While you're there, download a free health guide to get you started today. If you're looking for a coach and trainer to help you optimize your weight, body, and health, get on my calendar. Let's discuss your goals, establish a custom plan, implement it, and celebrate your results. Together, we can do this. Find the link to schedule a free energy audit strategy session also in the show notes. Connect with me on social media. I would love for you to let me know that you're listening to the show. Also, see the show notes for the links. In addition to a qualified healthcare practitioner, it's important that you have someone in your corner who is in for you and will help you to plan and stay on track implementing your goals. Are you ready? Let's rock and roll this boat. I will see you on the next episode of Be Fab, Be You Made Simple. Just a reminder that this podcast is for educational purposes only. This podcast is not a substitute for health care by a doctor or other qualified medical professionals. This podcast is provided on the understanding that it does not constitute medical or other professional advice or services.